My dad called me Wink the day I was born, and it just stuck, and I grew up being Wink, and actually I've never been called Sarah Marge. I was always gone out with my dad horseback from the time I was about 6 years old. My whole life just revolved around punching cows and sort of riding the range. There was work to be done, cows to be milked, we had to get in the wood, fruit to be harvested, vegetables to get in, the horse to ride, that was a big thing. There was always work to do at the ranch, and so we just didn't do many town, extracurricular kinds of things. If there was work to be done on the ranch, sometimes we didn't go to school. That was a great day when you didn't have to go to school. We lived in a place where there was no electricity, no running water, a wood-burning fireplace for heat. I thought being a school teacher was a pretty good deal because at least you could be out of school on the weekends and you have the summers off to work on the ranch. So I ended up being a school teacher. When I got out of school, actually by then I had married, and so we moved down to Maricopa and Stanfield and worked in the feed yards there, and I got a job teaching school there at Maricopa. I was offered a full-time fellowship to go to the University of Arizona to get a master's degree in the teaching of reading. So I accepted that, and then the next year we moved to Tucson, where I finished my master's degree in 2 semesters. I always say I had the good fortune of coming down with what they thought was valley fever, and they told me I really needed to move away from the dust and whatnot of Maricopa. And so they let me renege on the second year, and we moved back to the ranch, and I've been there ever since. You have to know more about your ranch than anybody else. I can defend my position. I can justify my requests. I can give scientific data for ecological benefits to the range through livestock management, ecological benefits for wildlife habitat, and so on, based on that knowing everything there is that I can know about that particular landscape. The whole idea of kind of having guests on the ranch is to share the wealth of the ranch with other people. And when I say share the wealth, it doesn't mean I pass out $50 bills. Sharing the wealth means sharing the intrinsic and the pristine beauty of what the ranch offers. People say, oh, this is a dude ranch, and I say, no, it's not a dude ranch. It's a ranch with a few dudes. I always look back at my childhood as the thing that gave us shape. We learned how to work. We learned about the land. We learned about the challenges of living on the land and how to improvise and get by with what you had. Learn to understand how our landscapes in Arizona are interdependent, and their functionality is really dependent upon the landscape relationships that you have. In other words, you can't take this piece of land and separate it from this piece of land and still have a functional landscape, because the water's going to be over here, the forage or the shelter's going to be over here. The greatest endeavor of all is agriculture, because that's what sustains people. And if we don't impart an understanding of the worth of that, then someday our society is sure to fail.